The first time I got our special guest to join us in the studio, I enjoyed the interview so much I thought I'd call him back in. Spernat is our guest from Rodney Samuels Consulting, buyer advocate extraordinaire, and he tells me this is a really interesting time, especially with everyone trying to live in this COVID world of ours. Dan the man hasn't made the word that we want, hasn't provided us with the latest information about how long it's going to take before real estate does get a chance to see people around, properties and inspections. What do you make of the current marketplace? And what advice do we have for people? Is it hold on to your money? Because the times may well prove a bit different.
Well, I think we'll cover the first one with Dan the man, or
Dan,
whatever you want to call him.
Premier,
Mr.
Yep.
Premier.
Yep.
So basically where we're at the moment is we can do one-on-one inspections with one agent, one buyer.
That's it?
No more than 10, 15 minutes in the property, and then you can have another buyer there. There's nothing wrong with that. What we can't do is the group inspections like you used to, where you'd have to line up and wait to get in, or even in the stage 2 of COVID, where we had 10 people at a time could go through a property. We're not at that level yet, and we are definitely not at public auction yet.
So what happens to a program like The Block, which has been around for about 20 years, and each and every year we await to see the thousands go through those properties?
I have a feeling it's going to be a bit like the Democrat convention, where we just have lots of little screens of people bidding.
Wow.
I mean, I genuinely don't know, because we don't know now. Look, we're all hoping that at some point in the not too distant future, we will be allowed to conduct an auction with a set number of people, like in stage 2, out in the open air.
Okay.
And that will mean the block can fly along and have the hype and the excitement of the auction, because it does make for good
deserves
TV.
Yeah.
And it does deserve it.
Yeah.
But at the moment, it is still just online auctions. So look, Zoom auctions have been fun. I don't personally enjoy them a lot, because it takes out one of my great tactics of being a little bit of a bully. It's hard to do that through a computer screen. But in saying that, it has been a new way of doing things.
Is it about, when you say it's a new way of doing things, and you say you're limited by Zoom, could it well be that you need a new technique? Well, do you have to change the way that you've been doing what you've been doing?
Look,
take you out of your comfort zone.
It really has, and I had an auction at the start of the first day, this first lockdown, and it was a lot of fun, because it was a bit like a Three Stooges episode with, the bidders calling out over each other, the agent not sure who's bid, and it was a little bit comical and it was lighthearted. And I think in a way, for the average person out there who maybe isn't buying a property every couple of weeks for a client, it's a much more gentle approach, because it was a lot more lighthearted and it allowed for questions to occur, as opposed to the pressure of a Saturday auction where it's going at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
And there's the theatre.
And that's what's lacking in the Zoom auctions. There's not as much theatre, and it's not as fun.
Okay.
And the agent doesn't get to do their performance. Because let's be honest here, like politics, real estate's for ugly actors.
Deary me, that's a tough call. But seeing you've been living this game for a lifetime, one of the things I wanted to run past you was there are a great many people through this COVID pandemic that have suddenly decided that their house isn't the house that they thought they had. You touched on in an earlier interview that we did that people were now rethinking their living experience and rethinking about where they want to live next. And I know from my personal experience, I already have a wife who's thinking about super nesting. In other words, wanting to add a couple of areas in the house that we never imagined we were going to extend to. Are you seeing more and more of that likely to happen?
I think we will, and we definitely are. So what will probably be the follow-on of that is that there'll be less stock available, because people will stay put. The real estate market's like musical chairs. The problem is the music's been going since 2007, but no one's really standing up. And that's why we've seen a reducing stock level, and especially during COVID for obvious reasons. So we probably are going to see less stock available, and people will be renovating what they already have. But a part of that, and if I can just touch on it, is the stamp duty cost. That's something no one talks about, is the cost of moving.
Are we likely to see a reduction now with the government? Some of the strategies, for example, to help businesses move, to help the economy get up and running. Can you see an adjustment? Can you see governments across the country looking to help?
No. In short,
okay.
I don't think they will get rid of stamp duty. They might play with it, but I think at the end of the day, they draw in 42% of state revenue or thereabouts comes from property taxes.
Okay. So hard to give money out if you haven't got any money coming in.
And that's the problem.
Okay. The other thing, Spring Racing Carnival is a huge time of the year in Victoria, essentially. And it's a time when so much happens. So many people come to the state, come to visit, come to play, come to eat, come to do everything. Very different time.
Well, it is.
So are we going to see that impacting as well?
Look, less so than any other year. There used to be a general rule that you didn't want Spring Carnival during your auction campaign, and especially not the week before or the week of.
Yep.
I don't see that being such an issue now, as people aren't heading away for the long weekend, because they can't. But also, there isn't going to be the big distraction. Yes, the Tuesday will still be a great day, and I think if we are allowed to, people will have functions.
Yep.
But I don't think there's going to be that out-and-out distraction, the same as the grand final weekend is probably not going to be as big a distraction as it used to be.
Okay. So in short, what you're saying to me is hold on to the story at the moment. Don't make any key decisions, because we need to hear what the government has intended.
But look, in the same breath, if you see a property you love, there is nothing wrong with going for it and having a go and buying it. But what I'm saying to my clients is don't panic buy. Don't get FOMO. There will be other stock coming along. We see it every couple of days. There's another property that comes online.
And if you're buying along the waterfront, there's always one bit of advice. Buy today, because tomorrow is going to be even dearer.
Exactly, and that won't be there tomorrow.
Correct. Finite properties.
Exactly.
Sam Spernat, as usual, you've come well armed with a stock of one-liners, and also given us again an idea of just how complicated the market is. But again, it's always filled with opportunity if you look carefully.
Exactly. That's the best thing.
Sam Spernat joining us on The Informer.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate.